Let's talk about Framber because Steve Phillips is going to join us to talk about the teams that missed out. But let's hit you on the team that got him. We heard of the deal yesterday, the largest ever for a left-handed starting pitcher. Mark Feinsand's ex.
Say that again.
Largest ever for a left-handed starting pitcher. Framber Valdez, 3 years for $115 to the Tigers. Jeff Passan cracked the code first. A little more context on the deal from Ken Rosenthal. In agreement with the Tigers, 3 for $115. Deal includes deferrals and an opt-out after year
I'm a Tiger fan. Don't we have the best left-hander in the game? Doesn't he make the most money?
I mean, what a 1-2 punch of lefties they've put together here. Here it is, highest AAVs among contracts for starting pitchers. Valdez's is the biggest for a lefty.
Wow.
He's in legendary company here. It all worked out for Framber, waiting until February to sign this lucrative free agent deal. 3 years with an opt-out, which means, I mean, in a really bizarro world, if he wanted to opt out and get another bite at the apple, he could. But take it at face value. This is a good deal for him.
Opt-out. Look, it doesn't get there, Matt, unless he had several teams in that atmosphere.
Which we're led to believe he did.
Yeah, he doesn't get that number. So that's pretty amazing looking at the contract. But Framber has finally landed.
He had, not only did he have several teams, he had several teams at different ends of the competitive spectrum.
Yeah.
Right? We were heard that maybe the Pirates, the Twins were involved. We know Toronto was kicking the tires. I had him going to the Mets from the first day of the offseason.
Did.
Wrong about that.
Yeah.
But what a rotation that the Tigers have put together. Is there any doubt now?
Will it hold together? Is my question.
You're talking about Skubal?
Yes.
All right. Well, that remains to be seen, and we'll get to that. But I don't think there's an argument as to who the chalk is to win the AL Central right now.
They just have to hit now.
It's the Tigers. Like, this is the best roster in the division.
Well, I mean, you look at they're one game away from knocking Seattle off and continuing to advance on and maybe take on the Blue Jays to go.
Right.
When you can really put the pitching back to back, that they can throw together. That's a big jump for them. I'm hesitating because I still don't think it's enough.
What else are you looking for here? Bullpen help?
They need some offense. Their offense isn't there yet for me.
I feel like they like who they got.
They're going to be pretty good. Look, I look at a few things here. When I heard this news and I saw where he came from from Houston. So he only played for A.J. Hinch for a little bit of time. But A.J. has always been, well, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
He recently met with Tigers manager A.J. Hinch. Helped lead to this deal. Look, A.J. knew him when he was in the minors. Because when you're the big league manager and you've been in baseball ops like A.J. was, you're looking down there going, we're building something in Houston. Who's coming? Mm-hmm. And Framber was putting together some nice years in the minor leagues.
Well, as a young guy.
Yes.
Younger guy.
And so he got a chance to get to know him. And obviously he's followed his career. But here's a look at some of the first 2 major league seasons for Framber. This is under A.J. when he was playing for him. And he was worthy of somebody he saw coming.
Well, look, I think this, getting back to your point about A.J., he has a very prominent seat at the table. Not all managers have player personnel input the way A.J. does.
Yeah.
And I think that I don't know that it happens without A.J. signing off on it. If Jeff Greenberg and Scott Harris, the brain trust in Detroit, if they loved the player and they went to A.J. and said, what do you think? And A.J. said, nope, he's a turd, I don't want him. They don't sign him.
I think it might be the other way around, too.
You think A.J. advocated
said,
for him?
We got to get this guy on the radar.
Could be. In either case, he was instrumental in this thing happening. Right.
I think the shocker for most people is obviously the number, but the number because you have Skubal on your roster. And you all of a sudden you drop the highest left-hander, AAV, in the history of the sport, and you got a guy sitting there with 2 Cy Youngs who's at arbitration, and you're waiting to hear what happens. So that's the intrigue here when you start looking at, okay, to me, if Framber Valdez is the lead dog of this rotation, they don't win. It has to be Skubal.
All right. Well,
as the lead dog.
Let me ask you a question, because this is where I think this is where you're headed.
Terrible question.
I haven't even asked it yet, Mike. Here's the question. Is this also one eye down the road toward a pivot on the occasion they either A, trade Skubal, or B, can't keep him as a free agent at the end of the year? And here's the example I'll give you. When Matt Holliday was a free agent, I know there's position players and it's a different comp, but Matt Holliday comes due in St. Louis.
Right.
And the Cardinals break him off, big long-term deal, knowing that Albert was coming a year later and that they might not be able to keep Albert. It's almost like they picked one over the other before the expiration date.
Yeah.
Is there a little bit of this here for you?
Yes and no. I look at it this way. I don't think Skubal's there anyway long term. That's just my take. I still go back to what he filed at $32 million. Mm-hmm. He wants a 10-year deal. If there's one guy that's coveted that 10 years, I know they're not getting as much now, but he's a $300-something million pitcher. He's the next in line. So are the Tigers going to pay that? I don't think they would over this course of the next 10 years. So I look at it this way. If he loses this arbitration case, he being Skubal today, he gets $19 million. He made 10 last year.
Yeah, that causes some hard feelings.
Yeah, that's hard feelings.
If he wins, he gets 32. But if he loses and you just sign this guy that makes twice as much he's going to make, he's pissed off.
He's going to be pissed off anyway.
And then if he wins, they're probably going to have to trade him regardless. I think it stinks.
Yeah.
Now, they can make a run and see how things are. I know everybody's thinking all those different deals.
Uh-huh.
And I don't think his personality is like, I'm not going to pitch. That's not him.
No, he's a pretty competitive guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.